Oh, hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him, and I am here with a brilliant group of minds all throughout the DFW area, and we are here to make you guys some money. We are going to preview all of the Sunday games in the afternoon. We are going to leave the Sunday night game and the Monday night game to our last episode of the week, so be sure to subscribe and tune in to that. We are going to preview all these games. We're going to tell you some tasty gambling bits. If you haven't watched the Thanksgiving Day show, be sure to go back and watch that, assuming you're not seeing this on Friday, because that would be kind of weird. Anyways, we got parlays running inter-show, okay? So keep in mind there. We are going to get the intros done in a second, but first, we're going to start here with the New England Patriots taking on the Giants in New York. Now, this is a very, very interesting game because bad news out of New England every single day. You read something new on Twitter. The Twitter news this week is, yep, Bill still definitely out of town, not staying in town after this season. Mack Jones completely lost the locker room. Not good news out of the Patriots organization. What are we hearing out of the Giants organization? They just won a damn game with DeVito. Like I said before, he averaged 9.5 yards per attempt against the Commanders, which is a 30th pass defense in the league. The Patriots are ranked 18th in pass defense against the league. So everything is pointing against the Patriots. Everything is kind of pointing towards direction of the Giants. The Giants are still, even though all of that is taken into consideration, an underdog at home. 3-point underdog at home. But I've been looking for excuses to bet on Bill Belichick all year. What is Bill Belichick known for? Shutting down shitty, inexperienced quarterbacks. What is DeVito? A shitty, inexperienced quarterback who ran into a incredibly shitty defense who just traded away two of their best players. And now we're kind of seeing after a couple of weeks that defense slowly eked down to the worst in the league. So I think that was more of a flash in the pan than anything. And on top of it, I think that could be like a little bit of a letdown coming off a Thanksgiving break. You know, the Patriots pissed off, not having a good time at dinner. Giants, you know, eating big, feasting because they just won a damn game that they weren't expecting to win. So I'm going to take the Patriots -3 here. James, what do you think?
We forget that Ezekiel Elliott is on these Patriots. So if anybody's going to go in feast mode, it's probably going to be Ezekiel Elliott. I think, as Mark Twain once said, the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. I mean, oh, shit, what the hell?
Uh-oh.
What is happening?
What's going on?
Power out?
Who are you? What is this? I'm David Tyree, the ghost of Giants-Patriots games past, and I have come to tell you that the NFL does not want the Patriots to continue to succeed, and this game is cursed. The Giants will win. They'll win in great fashion, and DeVito will move on to be the starting quarterback of the 2028 Italian flag football team as well. Farewell! Wow, that was weird. Where did that come from? That was crazy. That was probably the wildest script game we've seen yet. I got the script delivered by a ghost. That's crazy. I'm rolling with
never happened before.
Giants money line. This team owns the Patriots. They've ruined their lives multiple times. They've ruined Bill Belichick with an undefeated season. Now they're going to kick him out the door and make sure that he gets fired. Giants money line.
Giants money line going against me. I hate being up against the NFL script. It's a hard script to beat. Paxton Bailey, what do you think?
I'm joining the script on this one, not because I saw a spooky, scary The Ghost. Thank God on that one. I'm a wuss. But just because I'm going to give a little bit of faith in Luigi, the brother of Mario, the plumber, to Anthony DeVito. And I think he's going to beat the damn Patriots. I want them to lose even more than the Giants somehow.
Okay, so that is that a money line or
It's a spread.
Spread. Okay, recommendation out of Paxton Bailey. Ryan Perrio.
I think that ghost of David Tyree is a little low on magenta there. As far as the
Yeah, sorry.
But give me the Giants money line. The Patriots quarterback situation is a debacle. None of them seem to be incapable of playing a clean game. They turn the ball over. If it doesn't matter if it's the Zapper or Mac Jones, it seems like defenses are picking off passes. That Giants defense, while the Giants offense has been pretty slow, that defense has actually been pretty strong, especially with Okereke in the middle. He's been an absolute force for them. So give me the Giants and money line.
Giants money line backing the scriptwriters Ryan Perrio is. Andrew, what do you think?
Tommy, bring a shoe shine box. The passing Paisano will take another one. Why? It's not because he's a good player. It's because the Patriots are in tank mode. They're getting Caleb Williams, baby. You can't win any more games. This one goes to the Giants. I'm taking the Giants, and it's part of the third leg of my 5-team parlay.
Here we go. Yeah, so I'm up against a lot of you brilliant minds so far taking the Patriots, but I've never found myself in this position on my own podcast before. I want to know how to feel about it, so I'm going to bring in Tony Mack. Tony Mack, can you hear us? Can we hear you?
What's up, man? How y'all doing, fellas?
We're doing great. Tony, do you have an opinion on the Patriots and the Giants?
Yeah, I think the Patriots gonna take this one. I believe. Yeah. I think the Giants is gonna tank out, man. They got more losses. They're in more need of a quarterback. The Patriots, they got a lot more problems. I think they're gonna let Bill Belichick just ride it out because he deserved to. He deserved coach until he fucking retired. Excuse my Francais. I think the Giants gonna get this one. They don't have nothing over there. Same beat up, the defense beat up, the coaches beat up. It's over with over there. So I'm taking the Patriots.
I love it out of you, Tony Mack. Welcome to the show. By the way, why would the Patriots be tanking if their GM and head coach won't be there next season? Would be my question about the Patriots tanking. Moving on to an AFC North battle happening. Pittsburgh against the Cincinnati Bengals here in Cincinnati. Of course, Joe Burrow just got hurt last week. A wrist injury that we watched live. I kind of called it live. I'm like, oh, that feels like this could be a season-ending injury. Unfortunately, it was for Joe Burrow. We'll see if they get any draft picks or anything taken away from them not reporting that obvious wrist injury going into the game. The Steelers also lost a massive piece of their puzzle. Their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, was fired. Pickett still can't throw over the middle, it seems like, so I don't know how much that's going to help. Either way, I think the Steelers are going to be insanely motivated. They hated this guy openly. Like they weren't even being secretive about it towards the end with Matt Canada. They had crowds from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast chanting "Fire Canada" just for fun, just for the hell of it, just because everyone knows this guy's that incompetent, has been kept on the team for that long. And because of that, there's no way the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming out of here with a loss. The Bengals just lost their best player on their team, Joe Burrow, the leader of their team, the soul of their team. When he sucked in the first 3 games, the defense sucked and the offense sucked. So why would the Bengals, who are in last place in the division, even try for this game? Coming off of Thanksgiving, big hangover for the Bengals. Steelers still believe they can win the damn AFC North now that they've fired Matt Canada. I'm taking the Steelers as my best bet of the whole damn weekend, Thursday to Monday. James, what do you think?
Wow. I was tempted by this Bengals money line, and then I saw they fired Matt Canada, and I was like, there's no way I'm touching this game. I'm incredibly interested in seeing what the offense looks like for Pittsburgh. I'm intrigued. This is a classic. Either the team has given up on the season or they rally around and just want to beat the shit out of other people because they're pissed off game. So I think it's coin flip. Usually coin flips, I will take the plus money line. But in this one instance, with Matt Canada being fired, I think that changes the entire outcome of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense and makes me think that they might be a good team. So I'm staying clear of this game, but very intrigued to watch it.
Yeah, for the record, I don't believe that whoever fills in for Matt Canada, I understand that they're going to have a offensive coordinator and a guy calling the plays for the offense, which is interesting. Not sure how that's going to work. I don't think this offense is even going to operate better. I just think the team is going to be so much happier that Matt Canada is not a part of it anymore, that they're motivationally going to look a lot better. Paxton Bailey, what do you think?
I'm going to take the Steelers in this one, and I'm also going to take the under on this game as well, because I do think the Steelers are really good about taking off clock, especially with the fact that they have a two-headed dog in the backfield now. Jalen Warren is a dude, and Najee is starting to figure it out again, starting to look like rookie Najee Harris, which is really good. But, I mean, I did take Jake Browning as the greatest quarterback of all time during the stream. Go watch that on Jamie's network. And I'm often wrong, and this time I was wrong as well. So he's poop, and I'm taking the Steelers and the under.
Brilliant. Ryan Perrio?
I'm gonna have to pass on this game. This game looks like you're walking on a bridge with like one of those rope bridges in Indiana Jones with anything could fall. Both these teams could just absolutely collapse. And I think Steelers probably should look for a quarterback in the offseason. I think Kenny Pickett's pretty much shown that it may not be all Matt Canada, but Matt Canada did him no favors. And I think that a new regime is going to want a new quarterback because I just think he's severely limited in what he can do at the NFL level.
Yep, I agree. Pittsburgh Steelers do not have their guy at quarterback. Andrew, what do you think?
I'm staying away from this game. I was excited this morning. I saw Matt Canada got fired. Then I saw they're promoting their running backs coach to offensive coordinator, and some other guys calling the plays. We might see an uptick in production, which means they might score an extra 6 points a game. I'm passing. Jake Brown didn't look that bad to me last week, so we could see a surprise. I mean, they still have Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon and Tyler Boyd, so I'm staying away.
Brilliant. Tony Mack? Still on mute.
Oh, battle of the quarterback list, man. I heard the name Canada and I started to chant USA, USA, USA. Look, Canada has a lot of great things, especially comedians. I'm a big Seth Rogen fan, but apparently they didn't have a good offense coordinator. But I think this game is going to be interesting, man, because like you said, Pittsburgh is still fighting for something. I still think they're a playoff team, without having a great quarterback because they're on being rough, tough, and ugly. The Bengals still have their weapons. So, I may be surprised in what the backup could do. But I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this one.
Brilliant. So it sounds like a lot of us are on the Pittsburgh Steelers there, -1. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, taking on the Houston Texans. The Jags just took care of business, taking out the Titans 34-14. Calvin Ridley had like a game that he needed to have. Now, with Calvin Ridley, I was of the opinion, fantasy football wise, that he was probably going to take a while to kind of get his legs underneath of him. Maybe that's what we saw last week against the Titans, and maybe Calvin Ridley becomes a massive piece and really truly inherits that wide receiver one role that a lot of their fans have been wanting him to inherit over Christian Kirk. That is yet to be seen. The Texans just beat the Cardinals. Ryan Perry will probably tell you about it, without scoring in the second half. CJ Stroud had 3 interceptions. Since his 5-touchdown game 3 weeks ago, CJ Stroud is 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in the next 2 games. So he's cooling off significantly after a 5-touchdown game, which you by definition have to cool off after a 5-touchdown game because, that's pretty hard to do. Either way, I think the line's about right. I think both teams are kind of on an upward trajectory, on the same path. I think the Jags are a little bit better, and it is at Houston, and the Jags are slightly favored. So the spread indicates that. So I'm right with the spread. I'm passing on this one. James, what are you doing?
Yeah, law of averages with CJ Stroud, right? Everything's got to return to the mean. I think this game is a total coin flip, and you know what that means for me. If it's a coin flip and it's plus money, I'm taking the underdog. I like the Texans' money line here. I think really either team could win this game. If we see the CJ Stroud of 3 weeks ago, Houston Texans are going to be an easy win. If we see him from last week, probably doesn't win the game unlike it was against the Cardinals. So I think it's worth taking the flyer here on this money line. I think it's a decent coin flip. I think it's at plus 115, plus 120 right now. Definitely worth looking at.
This one's saying plus 100, but I'm sure you can find plus 120 if you shop your line around. So, shop it around, count that towards your units won and lost at the end of the week. Paxton Bailey, what are you thinking?
Like James was saying, this is kind of a 50-50 game, and because I'm poorer than James is, I'm going to not throw money away because it's a whoopsies. I don't know what kind of is. I want to watch it, but I'm not going to touch it on this betting occasion.
Brilliant. Ryan Perrio?
I have to tip my cap to the Cardinals defense in the second half. They really started giving him the Pat Mahomes treatment and really dropping people back and making him really, really try to fit some things. He made a couple of rookie mistakes, throwing off his back foot late to the outside and threw it on the inside shoulder on an out route, which is an absolute Cardinal son of a quarterback. I am going to take the over on this game. I do think it is going to be the barn burner of Sunday. It is going to be a very high scoring affair. My heart wants the Texans to win, but I feel the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to take it by either a late field goal or a touchdown. But it is going to be, I think it's definitely going to go over 48.5.
So Ryan Perrio taking a shootout between C.J. Stroud and that Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback that everyone talks so much about, Trevor Lawrence. Anyways, Andrew, what do you think?
I'm staying away from this game right now, but this is something come Sunday, I'm going to watch and see where the money's moving, if the line moves at all, if any of the big sharps are making moves. Right now, I kind of lean Jacksonville, but yet, I'm wary. It's just a weird game because Jacksonville is prone to shit the bed after a big win. They're the Jaguars. It's what they do. The Texans have been solid and something they can easily cover, but like Ryan said, with defenses, pulling back, forcing CJ Stroud to kind of either take the short pass and not force it. I mean, will he take the cheese? So I'm gonna stay away.
Brilliant. And Tony Mack?
Oh man, I like the Texans. I really do, and they got DeMeco Ryans, man. And this is a tough one. But I think the Jaguars is going to take it, but I'm going to take an under on this one, man. I'm sorry. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to score a bunch of points against the Miko Ryans in that defense. I think they're going to get it done. But on the other hand, I still feel like the rookie's going to make a few mistakes. So I think the Jaguars are going to win it, but I don't think they're both going to be over 48.
Awesome. So that's an under. That's some crossfire. We got a lot of crossfire on this episode, which is interesting because we're so far in the season. So let's keep it rolling with a super exciting game. Everyone, no one's not talking about this game. The New Orleans Saints, Atlanta Falcons, Michael Thomas out on IR. I mean, we'll see if he comes back this season. Bijan Robinson had 22 carries for 95 yards last week. Arthur Smith maybe like, maybe I just give our best player the football. Ritter will be back at quarterback for the Falcons. I think this line is right about perfect, so I'm going to lay off of it. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I have this line as the exact opposite at my book right now. +1 Saints, -1 Falcons. So I'm going to be intrigued as to how this flip-flop back and forth. If I can get plus money on one side, I'm going to grab it. And then I'm hoping I'm going to be able to grab plus money on the other side and just arbitrage the shit out of this. No interest in watching, no interest in gambling on it unless I can get that arbitrage or maybe a +105 on both sides and just take my 5 free cents and say, see you later.
Put that 5 cents in your pocket. Paxton Bailey, what are you putting in your pocket?
I'm going to keep my money in my pocket on this game and not touch it. The money line, like you said, or the score line looks great. And I'm not sure with all the injuries since it is Tuesday before the games.
Yeah.
But playoff Heine is out, so Desmond Ridder is starting. So I already don't want to touch it. I do want to touch playoff Heine, but not his. And there's a lot more, like you said, Michael Thomas, and a lot more on the offense that could be questionable for the game as well. So I'm nervous about it.
Okay. Ryan Perrio?
If I take anything on this game, I'm taking the under. I think 42 for two franchises that are really struggling. I mean, outside of Taysom Hill, the Saints really haven't scored. Kamara's really kind of been, neutralized by the play of Derek Carr. And everything else around them. I feel like this is going to be a low scoring, ugly. Thankful that this is on Thanksgiving Day kind of game. That this is just it's going to be a rough game to watch, and pretty much typical NFC South this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably definitely going to be a rough one to watch. I do kind of like that under, just because I feel like both teams are going to run this damn football. Andrew, what do you think, buddy?
Yo, did you guys hear that? Is that Jameis Winston's entrance music? I'm taking the over on this game. Derek Carr still not clear concussion protocol. I know tomorrow's Wednesday, we'll have a better look. But I'm feeling if Jameis is playing in this game's going over. It's going to be the highest scoring game of the week. Like 37, 34, and so much potential for just entertainment. Like if I know Jameis is starting, I'm putting this on my number one TV because he's going to be throwing so many YOLO balls. He's going to push the ball deeper than Derek Carr can, and he's going to, great risk comes great reward, and also pick sixes. So I'm taking the over right now. I'm putting it on the parlay, the fourth leg of the 5-team parlay. Over. Put it down, guys, because I'm telling you, Jameis Winston season had just began.
Just beginning Jameis Winston season. Tony, Mack, what season is it?
Who that? Who that said the Vikings and a bunch of other teams this year said they're going to beat them Saints? I would not be allowed back home if I didn't take the Saints in this game. So you already know who I'm picking. Weirdly, New Orleans. Weirdly, I do believe that they're going to go over in this game. And I'm just wondering, what is the battle of this game about for who's in the hunt? What is the purpose about it other than pride? And this is a rivalry. But I think, weirdly, they're going to go over. I think James is going to air that thing out. And it's going to be a lot of passes caught. Some going to be caught by the other team. But I'm going to take the Saints with this one.
I love it. Moving on to Tampa Bay and the Colts. A real kind of, a rough patch in this slate of the games here. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield couldn't find a way to cover 11.5 points last week. It's a real Baker Mayfield Minshew battle. I was interested to see which one of these QBs are playing better. So I looked it up. Passer rating for Baker Mayfield 15th in the league. Minshew 25th in the league. QBR Baker Mayfield 15th in the league. Gardner Minshew 11th QBR in the league. So a great range for the two of them there. Baker Mayfield 15 and 15, Minshew 25 and 11. QBR, I guess, is a more respected metric, if you will. Colts recently just released Shaq Leonard, who I kind of thought was like the emotional leader on the team. Maybe not. Maybe he's bad at rehab and not a hard worker, and that's why he struggled to see the field much this season. I've heard a lot of bad things coming out of that Colts locker room, and they are kind of cleaning shop, and maybe this is more of just like a locker room move more than anything. Maybe Shaq is just a shitbird. Maybe I don't get that vibe from him, but maybe that's the case. Either way, I am entirely laying off this game. Baker Mayfield only getting 2.5 points against the Colts. Not enough points for me. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm shocked to hear you bring up any sort of advanced-ish analytics here with QBR. This is unprecedented territory. Shout out to Leonard for still passing out turkeys an hour after he got cut. Class act by him, still making sure people got fed. I think this is a coin flip game, and you know me, I like plus money on coin flips. So I'm taking the Bucs here on the money line. I think I agree that Bucs and Colts both have pretty average quarterbacks, but the one thing that I will say is that's probably the most surrender Cobra move I've ever seen by a team midseason than cutting Leonard. That just signifies that season is over for that team. That's a pathetic move in my opinion as a franchise. You shouldn't do that. He's an all-pro. He's a leader in your locker room. You should not cut him. Weak move by the Colts, and I hope they get their asses kicked because of it.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, I'm kind of with you though, James. Like the reason I said that about Shaq is like if it's not that, nothing else makes sense, So it's bizarre, and maybe they are spitting right into the face of the football gods like they did when they cut Peyton Manning not too long ago. Paxton Bailey, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like the spread on this one is just too close to cut or touch on this one, but I will lean into the over because Baker loves to sling it. I feel like they might let Gardner start to sling it on this so-so Buccaneers defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I would look to take some prop bets, maybe with Mike Evans being as incredible as he is, and maybe even Rashad White, who seems to be picking up some of his, talents. He's carrying his weight a little more.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the over, especially if the Colts or if the Bucks get off to an early lead. This Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense does not do well trying to stop massive passes down the field late in games. So I'd probably take the over if that does happen live. Ryan Perrio, what do you think?
I think these teams are just mirror images of each other. Like they have, each team has their version of Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, and then they have. I would say Indianapolis Colts have a more elite backfield with Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss kind of coming out of nowhere to really like win that trade with Buffalo as far as spare running backs trade that they made last year. I If anything, I would probably lean on the under of this game. I don't think they either team scores 20 like over 20 points. I think both teams are kind of they're just kind of stuck at where they are, and when you're in the middle of the pack, it's going to be a rough time until you can kind of really tear down and rebuild. Which I guess with the Colts, they're doing that like the Irsay way, which is just kind of with unprecedented player dysfunction, and that like with the Jonathan Taylor situation, everything else, it just doesn't seem like that franchise really wants to do. Doesn't seem pro player at any point. Like I feel like the union may flag that team as, hey, you don't want to, if you're going to sign somewhere, don't sign there. They clearly don't respect any players. That's how I feel, anyways.
All right, brilliant. And then Mr. Andrew.
I'm staying away from this game. It's just there's just too many variables that are just unentertaining. Like I don't want to see Baker Mayfield run around and try to throw it to Mike Evans in triple coverage. I don't want to see Jonathan Taylor run into 8-man fronts. So I'm gonna pass.
Brilliant. And then Tony.
Hey Ryan, is that an Earl? I said the wrong name. Is that an Earl Campbell jersey? Word, wicked,
It is a
wicked.
Earl Campbell jersey.
Earl Campbell, wicked. I'm gonna pass on this game. It doesn't matter. You don't know what you're gonna get out of these games. It's just pointless. I'll pass.
Love it. Moving on to probably the last bad game that we're going to talk about for a little bit. The Panthers and the Tennessee Titans. Panthers, they stink. Will Levis didn't practice. He's got a foot injury. I'm laying off at James.
I gotta get unmuted. Yeah, I'm also laying off it. No interest.
Didn't want to spend too much time talking about this one. Sorry to disturb you. Paxton, Bailey.
I feel like the Panthers need one, and I feel like this is the one that they're going to get if they're going to get any of them. So give me the Panthers plus 3.5 on the spread. I feel like they can, come back and get a win.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, this Tennessee Titans team stinks, but, so do the Panthers. Ryan Perrio, still muted.
The only line on this game should be a flat line because it's dead. Like it is. This is two franchises that are basically one's at rock bottom and one's kind of walking in the rock bottom's door. I'm just gonna pass this game.
Andrew.
The only way I'd watch this game if they were playing for like relegation. I'm passing. Fuck this game.
Tony Mack.
Oh, the Tennessee Mortals versus the Carolina House Cats. The only thing good out of it, if you have Derrick Henry on your fantasy and he's healthy, start him. Start him, and also I would take the under on this. That's the only interest in it. I would take the under. I don't think either team is going to score shit.
Yeah, that's a pretty relative. Go ahead. That's a pretty relatively low over under. Glad we got past that game fast, boys. Good job. Getting to 3:00, getting close to the end of this episode. The Browns and the Broncos going up to play at Mile High. That Mile High Stadium, of course, not a big deal later in the season when everyone's in pretty darn good shape. But even so, the Broncos are favored at home. against the Browns. If you would have told me that 3 weeks ago, even when Deshaun was out still, that would really, really, really surprise me. Broncos are coming off of a 4-game win streak, including wins over the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. They did just have a last-second win after I fell asleep on Monday night, I believe. Was it Monday night against the Vikings? Am I crazy?
Sunday night.
Sunday night against the Vikings. That's right. It was a long day for all of us. And then we saw the Eagles and the Chiefs play on Monday night. DTR has 55% completion percentage. He's averaging 3.8 yards per attempt, but he has played the Ravens and the Steelers, and the only 2 games he started, and one on short notice against the Ravens. For comparison, Stroud played the Ravens in week 1. He got 63 completion percentage, 242 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions against the Ravens for comparison. Just 1 game comparison, but it kind of paints a tasty little picture for you that DTR, maybe he figures it out. Maybe he's on his way to figuring it out. You know who have it figured out? The Cleveland Browns defense. So for that reason, I am going to take the Cleveland Browns money line. They're going to beat the Broncos at Denver. 114 or best line that you can find. I'm taking the Browns because I believe in that defense. And, Russell Wilson's been playing better. He's already playing a lot better to look good against this Cleveland Browns defense. They just got 1 defensive coordinator fired. Look out to the rest of the league because your offense is going to look bad against Cleveland Browns. They are healthy on that side of the ball, and there's no reason to bet against them at this moment. James.
Yeah, speaking of shopping lines, that's exactly what I was doing during the Panthers-Titans segment of this show, was seeing what lines are available for the Browns. Shout out, speaking of DTR, shout out UCLA. Victory bell once again painted blue. Suck it, Lincoln Riley. Cleveland Browns. I'm taking the Cleveland Browns on this one. Their defense is magnanimous. The under 35 is somewhat entertaining as well. But I think wrong team favored for sure. I don't care if they play in a tin can. I don't care if they play underwater. I don't care if they play a mile high. Browns. Ryan
Perrio?
I too am going to take the Browns. They struggled too hard against a Minnesota defense to make me think that a step up against Cleveland's defense is going to fare any better. It took a ridiculous acrobatic catch by Cortland Sutton, and I don't think he's going to have the time to do that. I think they're going to really bring the heat with Miles and who's on the other side there in
Darius
Cleveland.
Smith.
Yeah, they're gonna torture him, and he's not gonna have any time to throw that ball.
Yeah, Russell Wilson also loves taking sacks for like negative 20 yards. Is one of the favorite things he likes doing. Paxton Bailey, what do you think about this game?
I actually think it's going to be a little more interesting than we're all giving it. I think the Browns are going to take it. However, I do also want to lean the over considering all of the injuries and what's going on here. I think DTR might have a little extra saving grace with the fact that Kareem Jackson went down last week and he is out for a little while. And then, Russell Wilson's been able to find Cortland Sutton more this season. He's been doing better with his wide receivers. So why not take the over on this one? I could see a 21-17 game.
Yeah, the one thing this Browns defense has given up this season is big plays. Jaylen Warren, George Pickens in the first matchup against the Steelers. That's really the only way to score on this Browns defense is just get behind them and score an 80-yard touchdown because you're not going to matriculate the ball down the field on this team just because it takes 1 sack to get off schedule, and then you're fucked. Andrew Berry, what do you think?
I'm going with the Cleveland Browns to complete the 5th leg in my 5-team parlay. The disrespect they're putting on Myles Garrett. This guy alone should be swinging this line 2 points. I mean, he is going to eat Russell Wilson up. He's probably going to score a touchdown, too. I like that bet.
Brilliant. And I did just call you Andrew Berry on accident. That's hilarious.
I like that. I thought it was a new bit. I like it.
Tony Mack.
Oh, man, I'm going to take a walk on the wild side, man. I think that that Denver's altitude as well as what's legal out there is going to somehow have an effect on half of the good players for the Cleveland Browns. Maybe not the altitude, but the things you can get in Denver. I think Russell Wilson is going to get it done. I think Sierra's R&B career ain't going anywhere, but I think Russell Wilson is going to get it done somehow, some way. But I'm going to take an under. This is going to be very low scoring. I take the under, but I'm going to pick Broncos.
Okay, under and the Broncos. Can we get much higher? We'll find out at 3 o'clock. Moving on, we got a few more games in this slate, and then we're going to move on to our primetime games in our next episode. The LA Rams are going into Arizona to play the Cardinals. Kupp was injured again. Don't know if he'll be in and out for this upcoming game. Kyler Murray's completion percentage was up 7%. His passer rating up 13 points from his first game to his second game. That might just be more of a function of the defenses he played because they kind of relate to each other evenly in that aspect from the Falcons to the Texans. The Rams are a favorite on the road. Puka Nacua, I think, will be healthy, even though he's on the injury report every single week. Matt Stafford, looked all right in the second half. Pretty much as soon as Cooper Kupp got injured, Matt Stafford started to pad those stats and ended up with the win last week. I am entirely laying off of it. James. Uh-oh.
That's going to be me on Sunday if I have to watch that game. No interest. Just a little nappy poo. During that game. No interest. Put that thing back at noon. Put that thing back at noon.
Yeah, no kidding. Ryan Perrio.
I'm intrigued after firsthand watching the Cardinals firsthand last week. I think they were on the right track. I just think they had some really bad questionable play calls there at the end of the game to try to win that game. I think Kyler will use his legs more in this game, and they'll actually win this game. I think they're going to beat the Rams.
Okay, so that's a money line recommendation. Sounds like out of Ryan Perrio.
Yes.
Paxton Bailey.
I'm going to lay off this game. This one's going to be a snooze fest, and I just don't want to watch them try to get it to Puka a bunch and the Cardinals try to get some sort of offense going for the first time ever.
Cool. Andrew?
I like the under this game. This game just screams out 21, 17, 20, 12. Come on. I like the under this game. I mean, Cooper Kupp, dinged up, probably not going to do much. Kyler Murray's throwing to Hollywood Brown and a bunch of other dudes from the USFL. Let's just go under. I love it.
Michael Wilson, how dare you disparage his name, Andrew? Going on a Tony Mack.
Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore.
Shut your mouth, James. Tony, what do you think?
Man, I don't even think the coach is going to show up to this game. It's boring. Who cares? If you're going to bet something, bet that they both suck moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward onto a fucking awesome game. The Bills going into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. The Eagles are 3.5-point favorites at home. Josh Allen was asked what was different about the team last week. He said, hey, we're just having fun. And, it's of course easy to say that until you show up to the facility on Wednesday and have to start working with Stephon Diggs again. He is an energy vampire in that locker room. But we have like a positive vibe in the locker room on the other side of the ball with Rasul Douglas, 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery last game. First Bill to accomplish that since Kirk Schultz in 1998. Can you believe it? The Philadelphia Eagles are rolling off of a big win against the Chiefs. Jason Kelce is the sexiest man alive. I can't wait to watch this game. There's no urge in me to gamble on it, however, so I'm going to lay off it. James, what do you think?
Yeah, we should change Stephon Diggs' name in our Dynasty League to Colin Robinson because he is absolutely an energy vampire. If you watch What We Do in the Shadows, you get that reference. If you don't watch that show, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I am having my first part of my teaser that will be completed in the next episode here.
Here we go.
With the Eagles. I'm teasing the Eagles. They were a little better earlier when I teased this. I got it up to 4.5 with the 6-pointer, but yeah.
So you're teasing through 0.
I am.
Okay. I wholeheartedly do not endorse that bet, but I cannot talk shit because you are beating me in gambling this year so far. So I have to allow it, although I would never endorse teasing through zero for math reasons. Ryan Perrio, what do you think?
I'm going to lay off this game as well. I think Buffalo had a get-right game against the Jets, but I don't know if they can sustain that, especially against a team like the Eagles. I think they may play well, but I don't think they're going to play well enough to win.
Got you. Paxton Bailey.
This game is going to be a dogfight. I cannot wait to watch this game. It's going to be very fun. However, the Bills' defense looks a little more banged up than the rest of the other teams in the league. So I'm going to take the plus 100 on the Eagles covering that spread.
Okay, got you. Yeah, my Eagles minus 3.5 for Paxton Bailey. That's a recommendation out of him. Andrew.
Hold on a sec. Hold on. Oh my God, my cat's killing me. He's telling me I gotta go with the Buffalo Bills. This is a squirrely game, and I feel like Josh Allen and the Bills are back for one game only. Look, I watched the Monday night game with the Chiefs and the Eagles. Chiefs would have won that game if their guys could hold on the ball. Stephon Diggs doesn't drop any balls, and neither does Khalil Shakur, cousin of Tupac. I'm just saying. These guys are going to come ready to ball. And my son, Dalton Kincaid, is going to eat up the middle because the Eagles' middle linebackers suck. So give me the Bills. Give me the points. Thank me next week.
So that is a plus 3.5 recommendation out of Mr. Andrew. And we will thank you next week, buddy. Subscribe to the channel so we can accomplish that. Tony Mack, what do you think?
Oh, man, I'm going to take the Bills for several reasons. One, all y'all talking about Stephon Diggs being a locker room killer. That is a perfect ingredient of every star wide receiver not named Jerry Rice. Every other top wide receiver in the history of the NFL has to be a prima donna. You have to know that. So let Stephon Diggs be Stephon Diggs. I'm not worrying about that because we know what he do on the field. I think Josh Allen's going to get it together. Plus, on the other side of the football, man, Philadelphia Eagles know right after this week, they run into us. Right after this week, they are running into us. They do not need to be banged up. I think they're going to lay down this game, let Buffalo win it. They need it more than them, just so they can be ready and fresh for us the following game. So I'm going to take the Bills in this one.
Also be the Cowboys. Is that right, Tony Mack?
I don't think so, sir. I think it's the exact opposite colors. The 5-time Super Bowl champion, soon to have a 6-patch on his jacket. San Francisco 49ers, sir.
Okay, I was just clearing that up there, Tony. Thank you for who they're. I didn't look to see who they're playing next week. I knew it was somebody good. Speaking of somebody good, the Kansas City Chiefs are going into the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites at Vegas. The Chiefs have kept it, sort of close in some games, and they've blown out other games. They're coming off of a disappointing loss last week to the Eagles. The Raiders looked good against Miami. I am staying off of this game. James, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm very excited for the amount of points that I'm going to get as a Patrick Mahomes holder in fantasy this week. I just don't know about 8.5. I just don't know on this one. I think it'd be fun to watch. Maybe if I can find a player prop on Patrick Mahomes passing yards, I might take that for funsies. But I just can't pull myself. I think this line is perfect in my opinion, and I don't really see anything on the line or the over/under that makes me want to bet it.
Great. Ryan Perrio?
I feel like they're going to do the Kansas City Porta-John jugs machine where they open the door and fire the jugs into the receiver that's sitting in the Porta-John drill to try to get these receivers to catch the football. I believe this is going. If you're going to take anything, take the over. I think this is going to be just a ring up the scoreboard game for the Chiefs. They're going to score early and often as much as they can on the Raiders to really kind of drill home the fundamentals, as they were saying in their post game after the Monday night loss. They're going to basically they're going to cross every T and dot every I on that football field this week.
Brilliant. Paxton Bailey?
I am only going to lean the over on the Chiefs-Raiders game here because I could also easily see this being 35-7. Chiefs. So this game is going to be very boring for me to watch because I don't like the Chiefs winning ever. So I'm not going to watch this one, hopefully.
Andrew?
This game right here, staying away. I know everyone kind of feels like the Chiefs are going to wake up and do some damage, but I mean, who have they blown out, or who have they? Besides the first Taylor Swift sighting, I mean, this team just kind of plays under competition. That's my only problem. Like, you have Kelsey and the practice squad players. Like, I don't know. I know Aiden O'Connell's not really tearing it up, but I'm staying away.
Great. And then Mr. Tony Mack.
Oh man, I'm taking the Chiefs, but this is a very dangerous game for them because the Raiders are inspired under that interim head coach. They are very inspired, and if they don't have anything else to fight for, it at least beat up guys in your division. And the Chiefs, I'm being honest, I like my man that just said earlier, it's Travis Kelce and really practice squad players. I don't. If you're gonna bet anything, I'm taking the under. But I feel like the Chiefs are gonna win. But I'll take the under. I don't think it's gonna be high scoring at all. I'm looking at like a 21-17.
The real shining star of that Chiefs team so far has been the defense, and that has been the afternoon time slot for the NFL Week 12. Subscribe to the channel. Tune in to the primetime games. Go back and watch the Thursday episode as well. My name is Jamie Jakes. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow me at JKS on Twitter and Instagram. James says hang out with your families. Andrew says pet your animals. Ryan Perrio, follow him at Ryan Perrio at all platforms. Check out for him to be on some shows in the Dallas Comedy Club in the near future. Paxton Bailey, follow him at @Bailey_comedy on platforms. You can read it right there. Follow subscribe to his channel, Dingbat District on YouTube. And come and see him at Outfit Brewery on a comedy show with me in Dallas, Texas this weekend on Saturday to get away from your family. You can follow Tony Mack on all platforms, including YouTube. He's got an excellent channel as well, so go ahead and subscribe to him. My name's Jamie Jakes. Thank you and good night.